Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Looking for the last few sessions, we've been looking at the 12 Rivers routine. Last Wednesday we went movements 1 through 4. Friday we looked at 5 through 8. This past Monday we looked at the final 4 in the sequence. And today we'll go through the entire sequence with a little bit of modification. I had a question come in a couple days ago about a couple of the movements where we're bending over. And for people who have blood pressure problems or pregnant women or a couple other conditions that cause it to be a problem when your head sinks lower than your heart, we have some modifications. We're going to change out one of the movements today and give you an alternative which energetically mirrors very closely to the movement that is normally done, but would be much safer for somebody that is under those kind of limitations. And there's a later one in the sequence where we bend over. We're going to just bend the knees today instead of bending all the way over. The sequence that we're going to go through today is just the stock sequence, movements 1 through 12. On Friday we're going to run this sequence again, but we're going to do it based on the Chinese meridian clock. And I'll talk about that a little more on Friday, and we'll talk a lot more about that once we get into the member sessions next week. So let's begin today. Feet about shoulder width apart, body nice and relaxed. Soften those knees, give the shoulders a shrug, and then just let them drop. And let's begin to turn from the upper torso, letting the arms swing out side to side. Just letting them swing freely for a couple of moments here. Get the body warmed up a bit. Get some fluid moving in the joints. Additional bonus today. Today is the session that I'm going to use and submit for my first assessment in the course that I'm going through right now. And let's take the hands into loose fists and begin tapping on the lower belly and the lower back, knocking on the door of life, waking up our energy center, our lower dantian, and beginning to put a little focus on the breathing. Breathing in through the nose if you're able, and then you can breathe out through either the nose or the mouth. There will be some differences in that going forward on what the preferred method is, but for today we'll keep the breathing relatively relaxed. The breath work in the 12 Rivers is fairly advanced. It's fairly challenging. There are movements that feature very long inhales and long exhales in some other movements. We may break those up a little bit today, but if you're having problems with any of the breathing, following the exact pattern, don't worry too much about that. Just keep breathing deeply and naturally, drawing that breath down deep into the belly, and then focusing on a nice full exhale. Let's take the front tapping hand and move that one up to the shoulder, dropping it into that little crease, a little hollow. And then let's bring the tapping back down to the belly. Continuing to tap on the lower back. And let's just let the hands float back off the body. And we'll slow them down and let them come to rest so that we can connect to the breath with some spinal cord breathing. Breathing in, elbows wide, shoulder blades squeeze together. And then as you breathe out, bring it all back in a gentle fold. Breathing in, letting the body follow the breath. Breathing out. If anybody is on who has not been with me before, we've been looking at this 12 river set for a little bit. It takes a while for it to grow on you. The set is focused on all of the organ meridians. And you'll start to notice as your own movements refine in this set that you can really feel the changes that are happening. Let's add a little twist to the top. And then come back to center as you breathe out. Let's take one more on each side. And our last one. And then as you rise up, just let the hands float out to the side and down. And coming back into our neutral Wuji position. We begin with Dragon Clears a Path. So we're going to toe heel out just a little wider, the hips width, not a full, nice low wide horse stance, but a horse stance nonetheless. Turn your feet to the front if you can. If you have any knee pain, you want to turn the feet out just a little bit, and then spread the knees out, so like you're holding a ball. Dragon Clears a Path. We're using our Chi Lock fist for this one, so thumb is tucked under. We don't want to punch somebody like that, but this is what we use for many of the movements in this set. So inhaling, hands come up and into the ribs. Turn one foot out. Exhale as you press that fist out, and then a long inhale, drawing an arc across the back. Letting it wind across the top. Turning that foot back in, drawing that fist in, and then finally exhaling as we start out on the other side. Inhale as we draw the arc. Let your pinky lead on the hand. Exhale out. Inhale through the arc. Spiraling the hands so that as you come to the front, the pinky side of your hand is still leading. And one last one on the other side. Exhaling to begin. Inhaling through the drawing of both arcs. Drawing it back in. And then exhale, just release everything. Next movement that we would normally do here is called bending the body and turning the head. And that one has us coming into a nice deep horse stance and swinging our head down in front of us. Not a movement that you would want to do if you have any issues with your head going below your heart, like if you have high blood pressure. So an alternative to that. Again, we're going to start out just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Feet toward the front. Bringing our hands, fingertips almost touching, palms facing the floor. Turn to the side. Let them raise up overhead. And then coming across. And back down on the other side. This one's called turning the great wheel. That's that breathing. Breathing in. Come across the top. And as you begin the arc down, breathe out. Alternating sides. Let's take one more on each side. And a last one. And then just relax the hands, bring your feet back in, and let's return to our neutral Uji position. Next movement, one arm raising. We know this movement as separating earth and sky from earlier routines. We'll let the arms float out and then spiral in and capture a ball around your lower dantian. Now we're going to spread the hands apart, turn the palms over so one presses up, one presses down. Hands stay more or less in a vertical line here. Let's pick up the breathing now. Inhale, spiral the arms around, recapture the ball with the other hand on top, and then on the exhale, press out. This time, let's add coming up to the balls of our feet and looking up. Inhaling as you lower the heels, bring your gaze back down level. Exhale, press the palms away from each other, come up on the balls of your feet, and look up at the top hand. This one uses our familiar breathing pattern of breathing in through the transition, breathing out as we stretch. It's kind of the principle of the breathing in this set. We breathe in as we gather and breathe out as we extend. Let's take one more. And this time just let both arms float on down, bringing us back to Wuji. Toe heel out just a little bit wider than hips width. This one is called the crane looks behind. And we know this movement in a number of different forms. This one uses our crane head mudra, so all of our thumb and fingertips are all together. We begin by breathing in. And then as we breathe out, turn one foot to the side, one crane head pointing up, one crane head pointing down, coming back to center, inhaling in the center, exhaling as we extend to the side. Let's take one more to each side. And then up in the center, relax the hands and let them float down. Toe heel out just even a little bit wider than you were for the crane. This one's called Wild Goose Beats His Wings. So again, we're going to use our chi lock fists with our thumbs tucked under. Inhale, hands come up and tuck into the ribs. Exhale. Elbows up past the head. Come on down, keep exhaling, elbows flare out, and then hands flatten and push out front. Inhale, pull back into the ribs. Exhale, wings overhead. Keep exhaling, wings out to the side. Release, inhale back. Probably running out of breath. It'll come. Last one. Big inhale. Exhale. down. Staying out wide. Again, hands come up in front in our chi lock fists. Inhale them back into the ribs. Exhale, punch forward. Exhaling, spiral one around. And then turn the hand over, press forward. And then inhaling it back in with your chi lock fist. Exhale, other side. This is called punching wind. One more on each side. And then release the hands, let everything relax down. Back to Wuji. Next one's called Black Tiger Straightens His Waist. This is one that I'm going to show you a modification of. The regular move has us bending all the way down. We want to come in a little bit narrower on the feet, and then clasping our hands at the bottom. But this puts our head below our heart. So, an alternative. Breathing in, let the knees bend, and then once you hit the point that is as far as you can go, clasp the hands, breathe out as you rise up, bring the hands forward. Breathing in, the hands come back past the body, and then on a long exhale, 2 times, arch the back. Breathing in, let the knees bend, hands approach each other. When you hit the end of your range of motion, clasp the hands together, and then exhale as you rise, bring the hands up to shoulder height. Inhale, bring the hands back past you, and on a long exhale, 2 times, arching the back. One more time. And then just relax back into Wuji. Next movement is one that looks familiar to us. We're going to add a little extra to it than we've done before. So this time we want to come out nice and wide. Not so wide that you're feeling strained. Turn your feet to the front if you can. Press the knees out. We want the knees to track over the toes. And this is our horse stance. This one's called riding a horse and shooting a bow to shoot the eagle. Swing the hands to one side as you inhale. You're going to form an aiming point with this hand. Forefinger up, thumb up. The other hand's going to draw the string. On the exhale, draw the string, and then tilt yourself back to look up high. Inhale, let both arms swing across, switching sides. One is your aiming point, the other draws the string. And then tip yourself back and look up. Inhaling through the transition. Exhaling as you draw the bow. And extend that exhale and look up. One more on each side. Last one. And then just release all the way out of this. Coming back to Wuji. For the next one, adjust your feet so they're just a little wider than hips width. Flare those knees back out so they track over the toes. Feet pointing forward if you can. A little turned out if you have any knee pain. Arms float up and then spiral in to capturing a ball. Turn the palms out, one's in front of your face, the other's in front of your lower dantian. And gearing off the top hand, we're going to go in the direction where that elbow is. Turn just your upper torso to one side, then come all the way across, finishing in the middle. Now inhale, pick up the breath now as we recapture the ball. Spread the hands apart, press the palms to the outside. Exhale as you turn and turn and turn back to center. Inhale through the transition. Exhale as you turn and turn and turn. This one's called turning and gazing. One more. And again, release out of it. Let the hands come back to center. We're going to narrow up for this one a little bit. Feet a little bit inside of shoulder and hips width. Hands come up on the side. Interlock the fingers overhead. Then turn them over and look up as you press them toward the ceiling and maybe come up on the balls of your feet. Inhale as you begin to release out. Hands get to shoulder height, turn them over, and then exhale and release down. Inhaling up. Interlock the fingers over the head, turn them over, exhale, press to the ceiling. Inhale, begin to release down. Exhale, turn the palms over, and finish the release. One more time. Releasing back down to Uji. Next movement, Tiger stretches his back. We're going to toe heel out a little wider here. We're actually going to step out instead of just pivoting out. And then we'll pivot from side to side. Hands on the waist. Stepping out, let the hands come forward. Your lower hand corresponds to the leg you're lunging over. Turn the upper hand in, make claws, and then lift. Coming back all the way through, turn that foot in. Other foot turns out. Turn the top hand over, make claws and lift and stretch. This is Tiger stretches his back. Inhale here through the transition. Exhale through the stretch. One more to the other side. And then let's just release out of that. Let both hands float down. And we finish with the very uncolorfully named 4 body movements. Hands will stay on the waist the entire time this time. So, stepping out to the side, lunge. Sit back on that heel, turn that foot forward, look out over the side, dip your chin down towards your knee. Come on back up, turn the foot back out to the side and lunge over it. Turn that one back in, Turn the other side out, lunge, sit back, pivot that foot back in, look out over that side, dip your chin toward your knee, coming back up, back into the lunge. Let's do one more on each side. Just breathe naturally through this one. And one final one on the other side. And let's bring everything back in and close it out. Hands overhead, turn the palms toward the floor, press the palms. One more time, rising up, turn the palms over, pressing the palms, regulating the chi. At the bottom, toss one away, follow it overhead, and then let it trace down the midline of the body. One more time on each side. And this time, as the top hand floats down, let that one come to rest on your heart center. Place the other one over your lower belly. Step the feet in a little closer. Close your eyes for a couple of breaths here. And then, keeping your eyes closed, just let that top hand slide down, either over or under the other hand, and let both hands settle over your lower dantian. And we'll just breathe it to the finish. You may feel yourself start to sway a bit. Just let yourself sway like a bamboo in the breeze. You can always hang out in this standing meditation for as long as you like. When you're ready to finish your own practice, take one more big breath in. And then as you exhale, open the eyes, release the hands, and give everything a little shake at the bottom. Thanks for joining me this morning. We're back on Friday for our final free community session. We'll be doing the 12 rivers again, but we're going to start in a different place. And we're going to start it and run this one according to the meridian clock. And we'll talk more about that on Friday. Have a great day. We'll see you Friday. Namaste.